yet anyway, because we're only 11 days into the new year. So maybe I should be a little bit more optimistic than I currently am. Right now, the top apps of the week are, well, top apps that have come out this year so far, I should say, are mostly just camera apps, interestingly enough. And there are a few just like addendums to apps that have already come out. There's one that will let you hire someone to say bless you for someone after they've sneezed. So there's that. No, 2016 is kind of a slow year actually for app releases so far. I mean, the month of January isn't even over yet, so there's no telling yet whether or not 2016 is going to be a good year for apps or not. Actually, these last few years, 2015 especially, has come out with a handful of pretty decent new apps that have come out this year. This is Binary on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, and hotnewstalkradio.com. Happy cold 11th of January today. It was 18 degrees this morning. It was 18 degrees, and it was a good opportunity for me to dress up in the most warm clothes I could find. On CBS, this lady said that she had like 100 layers, so I guess she couldn't quite count up to 100 to determine if she had 100 layers on or not. I had a mere 5, so I guess I'm a lot more resilient than she is. It's been cold in the South, too, by the way. I don't know what the deal is, probably global warming, but it's been really cold in the South just in the last few days. It was pretty decent, and then suddenly just went down to way too cold. But I know what the temperature is every day when I wake up, actually, because I've got Google Now on my phone. I actually have 2 different weather services that I use on my phone. Oddly enough, I don't really look at the National Weather Service until I get into the office, just because I don't have time. I wake up and then walk out the door. Basically is my schedule. I don't have time for breakfast or anything. I just wake up, walk out the door, and get going. Because for some reason in the morning, there's always someone at the bottom of my hill who has wrecked or has gotten his car stuck. So I have to spend an extra 30 minutes to get that person out and then go on my merry way. But there are 2 main weather services that I use on my phone anyway. I use actually Google's built-in thing on Google Now, which you can get on an iPhone, by the way. You don't have to have an Android phone to have Google Now. You can have it on your iPhone too. And honestly, Google is kind of better than Apple when it comes to searches, when it comes to phone assistance. Honestly, having used both Siri and Google Now, I really do think that Google Now actually is kind of better than Siri. Now, Siri has its ups, especially when it comes to voice recognition. It's really good, and it's really good, but sometimes it has some hiccups. Maybe it's just because I sound weird or something. I don't know. But I've never had a problem with Google Now misunderstanding me. I can't think of a problem I've had with Siri misunderstanding me either. They both tend to be really good about that. So the difference between Siri and Google Now is really up to personal preference. If you have an iPhone, you may as well just stick with Siri. But when it comes to getting the weather on your iPhone, you can ask both Siri and Google what the temperature is like in your area. So the differences are marginal. You might say Siri, or I might say, okay, Google. So it's just either or. Now, for instance, let's say I want to know what the temperature is right now. I say, okay, Google, what's the temperature like? And after about 14 years, it gives me.
It's 29 degrees in Chattanooga right now.
So 29 degrees. It's still below freezing. 41's the high today, by the way. 26 is the low. So we're just above the low right now, 29. And fortunately, it is supposed to get above freezing. I hope anyway. Fortunately, again, most of the water that's on the roads is evaporated. So we don't have to worry too much about ice. I did notice a little bit on the Booker T. Washington Bridge, though, the dam there. So be careful of that. But other than that, it's been a pretty non-icy roadway, fortunately for us. So that's the main way that I get my weather. And actually my news, too, in the morning when I just want to look at the headlines. I have Google Now open, and then I look at both the stocks because I have a little card thing. I'll show you, actually. If you're on the webcam, you can look at us on YouTube. Go to YouTube and then search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you can actually watch us on the webcam. I'll hold up my phone screen for you so you can see my layout here. Basically, what happens is it tells me the stocks, and it tells me the temperature, and then I can scroll around, and it'll tell me what all is going on. So I can scroll through here. It tells me what the temperature's like. It gives me some news stories. David Bowie died. It tells me about that, and I can scroll through, and I can see all the different stuff that's going on. Like, for instance, Ted Cruz is ruled out of the deportation force to boot undocumented immigrants out of the country. So lots of different news stories that pop up that are very interesting to me. And I get local news and I get national news and I get international news all in one place. But there are different ways to get news. We use around here at the office, we tend to use two different services on our phones. We use both Flipboard and Feedly. I tend to prefer Feedly just because it's less battery intensive and I'm usually away from a charger for a long-ish period of time. So I have to worry about being charged up more than perhaps the average person would be. I use a Motorola Moto G, by the way, as my main phone. That's my main telecommunications apparatus is my Motorola Moto G 2015 model. I'll probably get the 2016 when it comes out. Possibly, maybe, whenever it comes out at some point eventually. It's 2016. It's January, so I can't expect it to come out this month or anything, but we'll have to wait and see. Whenever the new model comes out, I've got money saved up to buy it, so I'm good to go with that. But when I use my Moto G, I usually use Feedly on it just because it uses less battery than Flipboard does. And here's a little tip about battery usage, by the way. The heavier the app, essentially in terms of graphics use, the more battery power it's going to take up. So if you're worrying about your battery, like say you got 20% left, you can dim your screen, and that's a good way to save battery power. If you can stand having a dimmer screen, that is to say, then you can save a little bit of battery power that way. You might get yourself an extra maybe 15, 20 minutes just by dimming your screen down all the way. So that's one of the ways that I keep my battery power from going out immediately, right? And by the way, we follow every major news source on Twitter, and we retweet different things that you can that you'll want to know about on Twitter, and we also give local news reports on Twitter. So be sure to follow us on Twitter. That's Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter, and you can actually download Feedly and Flipboard, and you can actually follow the Hot News Talk Radio Twitter on Feedly and Flipboard, and that's a great way to keep updated on what's going on in Chattanooga and around the world. And at the station here at Hot News Talk Radio, you can follow Hot News Talk Radio on both Feedly and on Flipboard. And honestly, Twitter kind of looks better on Flipboard. Not gonna lie. When you go on Flipboard and you follow a Twitter account, it really does look really good, especially when that Twitter account has a lot of images uploaded like we do. You can see the images just really pop out. They look really good. It looks like a magazine. It's like it's been laid out by the NYT or something. It just looks really, really good. So follow Hot News Talk Radio on Flipboard. You can see all of our great tweets on there, and you'll stay updated. You can stay updated on what's going on around the country and around the world, and especially locally here in Chattanooga. Follow us on Hot News Talk Radio. We are your local news station here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com. I should mention, too, the TuneIn app is really, really good. I use TuneIn whenever I'm not here, basically, because it's just really reliable. It works all the time, and it doesn't have a whole lot of ads either. So what you do is go on your app store here. I'll do it with you because I need to check if I have an update, actually. So I'll go on my app store. For me, it's the Google Play Store. For you, it might be the Apple App Store. Either way, no worries. It's going to be the same procedure. So I'm in my app store now, and I'll go to the search bar, hit that search, and I will search for TuneIn. That's TuneIn. TuneIn. I feel like I'm at a spelling bee. Type that in. It's usually the first result. And for me, it is TuneIn Radio and Music. And I actually don't have an update. I thought it updated, but I guess not. No worries, though. So I can hit open, and I should turn down my volume before I do because I don't want to have my ears blown out. So I'll turn down my volume here. And you can actually do this with me. Just download the TuneIn Radio app on your smartphone. There we go. My volume's down now. And once it's installed, all you got to do is search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you'll automatically start listening to us here at the radio station at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com. It sounds really good, too. That's one of the things I like about TuneIn is that the feed sounds really, really kind of amazing. So you can listen to that actually in your car, believe it or not. If you have a newer car that has a Bluetooth radio, or if you've put a newer radio in your older car, then you can hook it up with Bluetooth. You can connect your phone with Bluetooth to your car radio, have the TuneIn Radio app running, and it sounds like you're here in the station with us. It sounds really good. It's like you're listening to a CD, the best of Hot News Talk Radio. It sounds really kind of amazing when you listen to Hot News Talk Radio through TuneIn on Bluetooth on your radio. And it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. All you have to do is, and I'll actually walk through the steps here, why not? I'll wake up my phone here and I'll close. No, I'll keep tuning open. Why not? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my menu here. And on Android, all you have to do that is swipe down on the screen. It's probably different for you on your iPhone, but it should be easy enough to find the Bluetooth options. So for me, I'll just swipe down on my phone and I'll see a little icon that says Bluetooth. Bluetooth, by the way, the symbol for it looks like a B, sort of a sharp looking B. So you click on Bluetooth or tap on, what do you do for Bluetooth? Do you tap on it? Do you click on it? What do you do on phones? I've never been really clear on that. Do you tap or do you click or do you what? Well, anyway, set your car radio to search for Bluetooth devices. Do the same thing on your phone and they'll start to sync up. And actually right now my phone's trying to connect to the Philips AS140 that we have in the office here that I used to play music sometimes, although mostly I'm listening to the radio station. But anyway, you can hook up your phone to your car radio that way. It's super easy. It takes maybe 30 seconds to get it done. Whenever I rent a car, because I actually own older cars, I don't have any newer cars that have Bluetooth, but I rent cars pseudo often, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Whenever I rent a car, it's always the newest one, of course. So I have Bluetooth in it, and I'll sync up my phone with Bluetooth, and I'll listen to my tunes, and I'll listen to Hot News Talk Radio when I'm driving around that way. Because usually when I rent a car, I'm going pretty far away, out of the range of AM radio. Because the AM radio does go really dang far. It goes past Cleveland. But, usually when I rent a car, I'm going farther than that, like to Canada or something. So I'll hook up TuneIn with that and then use my data plan, and I can listen to Hot News Talk Radio in the car all the way up to the border. It's really kind of amazing. I like doing it that way, and it always impresses people to hear the radio station going all the way that far up. In fact, fun fact, we have NFL and NASCAR here on Hot News Talk Radio. I was taking a trip with my friend, and we were using the TuneIn radio app to listen to this station, to listen to the NFL on this station in our car on our trip. So it's a great way to keep in touch with what's going on with the NFL and with NASCAR. We are both Hot News Talk Radio, but we also have a lot of sports here on Hot News Talk Radio. We are the exclusive carrier of Colin Cowherd here in Chattanooga. We also have, of course, Sean Hannity, and we have American Now with Megan McCain, Ground Zero, and Coast to Coast AM with George Noory. Coast to Coast is actually one of the shows that I grew up with. Believe it or not, Coast to Coast is one of the shows that made me want to get into radio. The things that Art Bell and George Noory talked about were so out there to me. I was astounded. I was like, man, people talk about this stuff on the radio. Like, they can get away with talking about that on the radio. It's really kind of amazing. And that's one of the shows that got me into radio, is Coast to Coast AM. So it's really cool to be on the same radio station as Coast to Coast AM with George Noory, which you can hear, by the way, from 1 to 6 a.m. right here on Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240. And we are always here at hotnewstalkradio.com. So you can get the TuneIn app to listen to us. You can do it on our website. You can watch us on YouTube as well. Go to YouTube and then search for Hot News Talk Radio. You can see me in my, actually I'm wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt right now because I'm repping that Led Zeppelin. I should be wearing a David Bowie shirt, but I didn't know that anything had happened to him until after I had left my house. So, oh well. But so different apps are not really coming out yet this year. There's not a whole lot going on in the app scene in terms of like recent apps this year. But it's only the 11th of January, so there's not a whole lot we can expect. But there are some cool things on the horizon when it comes to phone development and manufacture. Interesting fact, TP-Link, which you might know for making routers, is actually getting into the phone manufacturing scene. Not sure why. Kind of an odd time to decide to do that, but hey, why not? By the way, if you're looking at buying a budget phone, again, the Moto G is a good budget phone, but there are other ones out there. You can look on Amazon actually and look for unlocked phones. If you're not wanting to get an iPhone, of course, with a plan, right? If you're wanting to avoid the whole plan thing and you're wanting to go prepaid, which is what I do, then you can actually look on Amazon and do a search for unlocked phones. That's by the way, when we're talking about an unlocked phone, what that means is it's a phone that is not locked in to any provider, right? Like with an unlocked phone, you can generally speaking use it on any network as long as you put in the SIM card for that particular carrier, which you would then order from their website. Like I use Ultra Mobile, which is a subcontractor of T-Mobile. So I'm on the T-Mobile network, but it's going through Ultra Mobile. And all I did was I pay $19 a month and I get the SIM card from them. And there we go. I'm now on the network on my Moto G that came from Motorola Unlocked. So you can look on Amazon. You can actually look on different manufacturers' websites and get phones unlocked. Apple tends to not really want to do the whole unlocked phone thing, mostly because Apple has a pretty tight relationship with AT&T. So it's understandable. But if you're looking for a budget phone, you can look on Amazon and usually find some pretty dang good deals, especially if you're looking for Android. By the way, the new version of Android came out for a lot of different phones. Android 6.0 and 6.1 have rolled out on newer phones, Nexus devices. So if you have a newer Android phone, go to settings. Let me do this with you, because actually I should check and see if I have a new update. So I'm going to go to all apps, which is the little thing in the center of your screen at the bottom on your home screen. Go to settings, which should be near the bottom of your list, because, S, and then go all the way down. You should hit about phone. Okay, so hit on the about phone, and then the top option is system updates. And then there's a little thing that'll check for system updates. Mine's up to date. See, I'll hold it up for the webcam so you can see it on YouTube. And it says your system software is up to date. And there we go. Now I know my phone is up to date. And you can do that on your Android phone pretty easily. My Android version is 6.0. The 6.1 update should be coming out soon-ish. So that's a great way to make sure that your phone is updated. And it says I'm running a Moto G 3rd generation. There are a lot of different phone manufacturers that a lot of people haven't actually heard about. Huawei is one. That's HUA, HWEI, I'm wanting to say. It's a Chinese manufacturer that's really big in India. Hasn't really hit it big here in the US, but it's actually the number 3 phone manufacturer in the world. Kind of weird. Like there's Apple, there's Samsung, and then there's Huawei. And like, who's heard of that, right? But it's actually one of the number 3 phone manufacturers, and it gets really good reviews. So if you're looking again for a budget Android smartphone, Huawei is actually a manufacturer which you should keep an eye on. There's another one, I think it's Xiaomi is how you pronounce it, or Xiaomi. Xiaomi, I think is how you pronounce it. And it's another budget Android phone manufacturer, which you might want to look into. It's Xiaomi, and it's pronounced Xiaomi if I remember correctly. So look into that too if you're looking for budget smartphones. When it comes to buying an iPhone, lots of different phone plans have lots of different plans specifically for iPhone. I think AT&T has the iPhone for Life plan where you get constant updates. So as soon as the new model comes out, you get the new model. The bigger plans have those. The trade-off is that you kind of are stuck now with this plan. You have to sign a contract. It's usually a 2 or 3 year contract. So I tend to not want to use contract on phone plans just because phones are really fast changing. I don't want to get locked into using a phone for any real long period of time. I like just being able to do whatever I want, basically. I hate being locked into rules and schedules and regimens. I just want to do whatever I want, especially when it comes to phones. So anyway, that's my plan. By the way, Google Drive really came in handy today. And that's something that I thought I might share with you. Google Drive is one of the many file sharing services that you can use, but we use it here at the office a lot, actually. Google Drive is something it's just an app. You download it on your phone. And if you have a Gmail account or a Google account already, then Google Drive is just going to immediately work for you, basically. But something that I use a lot is Google Photos, too, to back up your photos. And the iCloud will do this, too. You can set it so that it'll automatically back up your photos so that once it's backed them up, you can delete them off of your phone. So you have them backed up in the cloud, but your photos are deleted off of your phone. So you can save up quite a bit of space that way, which is especially useful on an iPhone because you can't put more memory in an iPhone. You can't put a SD card in there to give yourself more space. So that's one way to one really good way to save yourself a lot of hassle with constantly sorting through your photos and saying, okay, I can get rid of this one, but I can't get rid of that one. All right, I like this one, but I need that one. Okay, I can't get rid of that one because I need this one. You don't have to bother with all that. It'll do it with videos too. Google Photos actually has unlimited space if you compress your photos beforehand. And that sounds more complicated than it is. It just has a little thing that pops up and says, would you like to compress your photos so that Google Photos can upload them more easily, basically. And just hit yes, and you'll have unlimited photo storage on your Google account, which is really useful if you're running an Android phone or even an iPhone, because it'll carry over from phone to phone. So that's one of the benefits of the whole cloud thing that everyone seems to be worried about for some reason, is if you have cloud services, you don't really need to worry about what device you're using, because as long as you log into your same account, the services will carry over from phone to phone to phone. So that's one of the big reasons why iCloud and Google, just the Google services in general are such a good idea, is once you upgrade your phone, and most people upgrade their phones once a year, your services carry over from phone to phone to phone to phone to phone. Because you can get 50 mazillion phones. It doesn't matter. As long as you log in, you still have access to all your services, all your YouTube videos, all your everything. We're going to talk a little bit more about cloud services in just a few minutes right here on Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com. Right here on Hot News Talk Radio in Chattanooga.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240.
On your signature, you can get $150,000. Can you believe that? $150,000 on your signature. Hi, I'm Bruce Krebs with the Entrepreneur Source. There's a program right now that you can get $150,000 on your signature with no pledge of collateral or personal guarantee. Call me at 423-875-5621 to learn more. 423-875-5621. You've been thinking about starting a business and becoming self-sufficient. Don't do it on your own. I have a proven track record for the last 13 years. 96% success rate. I can guide you into a franchise where you will pay yourself through the startup phase with very low or little risk. Call me now. I'm Bruce Krebs at 423-875-5621. 875-5621. And make sure to listen to the Entrepreneur Hour every other Wednesday from 11 to 12 o'clock here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Call me now, 875-5621.
While politicians debate climate change and taking our guns, they leave America vulnerable to disaster. You need to act now to keep your family safe and prepared. Do you have an emergency plan? Do you have long-term storage food? Do you have the skills and mindset to survive a disaster? If not, what are you waiting for? Call P5 Preparedness right now, 423-602-2175. Do you honestly think the government is going to help you? If you do, you are wrong, dead wrong. Don't get caught unprepared. Let the experts at P5 Preparedness get you ready for any emergency or disaster situation. Today, we offer a wide range of classes for the beginner on how to prepare, as well as the expert prepper. We stock a wide range of supplies, including long-term storage food, water filtration, outdoor gear, tactical gear, and plate carriers. P5 Preparedness, East Brainerd Road between I-75 and Gun Barrel Road. You will see the Army Deuce and a Half truck, 423-602-2175, 1309 Panorama Drive, Chattanooga. P5Preparedness.com.
Don't be a victim. Arm yourself today at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range, offering the finest selection of personal firearms and ammo, especially the hard-to-find ammunition. You know the police can't protect you. They show up after the crime is committed. The ability to protect yourself, your family, and when called upon, your nation is enshrined in the United States Constitution. Shop the largest selection of shooting supplies on their online store, CarterShootingSupply.com. Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range, the largest and cheapest selection in Chattanooga. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099. That's 344-1099. Keep your family safe by buying them a certificate for Carter Shooting Supply Tennessee Handgun Permit Class. And stop by today to consult one of their qualified experts. They'll fit you perfectly to the firearm that meets your needs. Call 344-1099. You'll always find the widest selection of new and used firearms at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. County School Board Chairman Jonathan Welch on Sunday issued a statement apologizing for the board's handling of the Ooltewah rape case and vowed, "I will do better." He said the school board is taking steps to determine whether or not Superintendent Rick Smith responded and acted appropriately to this tragic event. Sevier County court documents are indicating that two 16-year-olds may have held down the victim in the Ooltewah rape case, while a 17-year-old carried out the assault. A petition has also been started on change.org asking for the resignation of County School Superintendent Rick Smith and the Ooltewah High School coach Andre Montgomery. Two teenagers have been bound over to the grand jury in a sex for drugs case that wound up with a 21-year-old Peyton Hogan being shot and killed. Also charged in the case is 19-year-old Quincy Goodine, who a witness says is the one who shot Hogan in the chest in the incident last November. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Expect mostly sunny but chilly weather out there through the afternoon. Stay bundled up. Highs 40 to 42. Tonight, fair skies, not as cold overnight. Lows 25 to 27. For Tuesday, a few passing clouds, still dry. Highs back into the upper 40s with more cold weather for Wednesday. Check out eFax. Make saving time and money your New Year's resolution. Stop faxing with paper. Visit efax.com/30 days for a free 30-day trial. And I'm 1412 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. From the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go.
Cloud storage. It's not even the future. It's kind of already here. And we're going to talk about all the different cloud storage services and all the different cloud services in general that there are out there, because there are quite a few. I mean, a lot. We're going to focus on mostly 3 of them, and one of them is something you might not have even heard of, but I kind of use it all the dang time. So I figured I'd give it a little bit of credit for just because it's helped me out a lot. So this is Binary here on Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com. That's the word. .com. This is not a good day for speaking. This is not a good day for words. It's really dang cold out, and whenever it's cold, for some reason I have a problem speaking. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. It's a beautiful looking day out though. Despite how really cold it is, it looks really amazing outside. So if you have a chance, step out of your cubicle and look outside. I wouldn't recommend stepping outside because it's 31 degrees, but look outside. It's a really amazing looking day. The clouds look really high up, probably because they are. It's just a really nice blue sky day. I love it. I love weather like this. It's really nice because I like cold weather. I like inclement weather. I like it when it's kind of nasty out, but when it's nice and blue and it's also kind of cold, it's a kind of a nice, perfect day. It's such a beautiful day, and I'm glad I could spend it with you. But this is AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We're talking about cloud services, right? There's a bunch of different cloud services. There's zillions of different cloud services. Which ones are the best ones? Well, it depends. And you can actually diversify your cloud portfolio, so to speak. If you have, if you have an iPhone, chances are you probably already have the iCloud, right? You're backing up your photos on the iCloud, and you're backing up some of your files on iCloud too. You got a 15 gigabyte limit, I believe. Not bad, pretty good. But you can get more storage actually for free too. There's a lot of different options. A lot of people use Dropbox, and Dropbox is one of those things where it seems to be almost ubiquitous. Like everyone uses it, and it is good. Dropbox has a few different benefits. It's almost nearly identical to Google Drive in some ways, and it does have a few benefits over Google Drive too. One of the main things that people like about Dropbox is once you log in with your Dropbox account, you can get an app. You can install a program on your computer that will actually put a Dropbox folder on your computer, on your desktop, or wherever you want it, and you can actually drag files to it and exchange them between computers super easily. So that's one of the benefits of having a Dropbox account. But you can do the same thing with Google Drive as well. So it's not like that's an exclusive Dropbox feature. You can do that with Google Drive too. We do it here at the radio station. It's a great way to transfer files from production computers over to main broadcast computers. It's just great all around. So Google Drive and Dropbox are both really good options for doing that. One of the nice things about Google Drive, by the way, is if you get sent an attachment in your Gmail account, there's an option to move that attachment to your Google Drive account without having to download it. So you can move it to your Google Drive account, and then you can just use it whenever. You can either download it, you can view it in your Google Drive account, you can add it to Google Play Music if it's an MP3 file. There's a lot of benefits of having all the different Google services. Now, I will say there are some privacy concerns with Google Drive and with Google services in general. There are a few concerns, mainly because it's Google, right? Like, it's Google. So there are going to be some concerns with it, being Google, because like any online account, your Google account can kind of be hacked. And, well, that can be a problem. There are a few ways to solve that problem, right? Like, don't have a really obvious password. An example of an obvious password would be like your birthday. So if you have an account on anything, don't have your password be your birthday or your dog's name or your address or really anything like that. I know far too many people who have their birthday as, January 20th, 1960 or whatever. Bad idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bad idea. A much better idea would be to have a password that has a special character, right? Like an exclamation point, question mark, hash, whatever you want. Just shift and then one of the number keys on the top row, right? Like one of those things. And also it needs to have a series of numbers, right? It can be 4 numbers, it can be 3, 4 is usually what I would recommend. And then it can have a word as well after that. That tends to be a pretty good format for a password, and you can switch it up from service to service. So having a good secure password is generally a really good idea. Same goes for your phone, by the way. On your phone, you're going to want to have a secure PIN code. Now, I would not, this is interesting, I would not recommend a fingerprint for your phone password. A fingerprint scanner is actually not very secure. A lot of people have iPhones and they have the fingerprint scanner. Some, Nexus phones have them too. They have the fingerprint scanner and they think, well, I'm secure. You're kind of not. The fingerprint scanners are really, really, actually, oddly enough, easy to get into. I've seen different news articles about people getting into the fingerprint scanners with just their elbows. So it's way easier than you might think. And it's not even a hardware option. It's just software. So it's, there's always a way to get around these things. So I wouldn't recommend using a fingerprint scanner for your password if you can avoid it at all. If that's at all possible. It's super easy to change your password from a fingerprint scan over to a PIN code. I would recommend a PIN code, easy 4-digit, just random number that you come up with. It's easy to memorize a 4-digit number. Just do that, and there you go. That's your new password. It makes you a million times more secure, especially if it's a number that is not your birthday. Like, don't have your password be 1995 because that's not a very good password at all, or 1960 or 1959. Just not good passwords, not good at all. Don't have your PIN code be your birthday because that's easily guessable. See, if somebody steals your phone and just looking at you, they can probably gauge how old you are. Just a rough estimate. Like, that guy looks to be about, let's say, 45. So his password, let's say, is 1970. We'll try that. And then you can keep trying from there. So it's not a good idea, generally speaking anyway, to have your password be easily guessed like that. It's not a good idea. So yeah, there you go. That's my tip from me to you. Don't use a password that is easily guessable just by someone knowing the rough basics of your personality and who you are. Not a good idea, especially if it's your house number. Those are kind of the worst because I have your first and last name. I can usually get your house number. So making your phone password your house number is not a good idea at all. So one tip from me to you, just to make things a little bit easier for you. Now, about cloud services, iCloud tends to be the go-to for people who have iPhones, right? If you have an iPhone, you're probably going to be using iCloud. Now, as we all know from what happened to a bunch of different celebrities, the iCloud is generally not the most secure method of storing photos, programs, files, videos, all those different things. Generally not very secure. So yeah, here's the thing. Those people who got hacked because there was a exploit in the iCloud that allowed for people to get hacked pretty easily. So it happened to them because they were high profile. if you're, unless you're the CEO of Bank of America, you're probably not going to be a prime target. So you might, that takes some of the worry factor out of it, right? But anyway, iCloud is the go-to cloud app for cloud storage app for the iPhone. And that's fine. That's one really good one. There's Dropbox, there's Google Drive, but there's another one that tends to get overlooked. Mega tends to be really, really good. One of the main reasons I like Mega is because of the high storage, free storage limit, 50 gigabytes of free storage on Mega. And I'm not being paid, by Kim.com to tell you about Mega. I found out about it because I was following the whole Mega Upload debacle in the later 2000s when Mega Upload got shut down by the FBI. Kim.com started up another service called Mega that was cloud storage. And much like Mega Upload, except for the 21st century, basically. And it tends to work really well. There's a mobile app, there's a desktop app. It just works really nicely. And again, 50 gigabytes of free storage. You really kind of can't beat that. Mega is really popular for file storage among more tech-savvy communities would be the pretentious way to put it. So mega.co.nz is the website. If you want to use it, it's a New Zealand website, and Mega is the name of the app. You can search for it on your particular app store. Again, I really like it. I use it pretty often for transferring big files. Has a nice fast download speed. I like it a lot. So Mega is one of those good cloud services that is definitely gets my seal of approval anyway, because I use it pretty often. So those are your cloud service options. Let's list them again. You've got iCloud going on, right? You got the iCloud jam if you're on your iPhone. iCloud, iPhone, all that Apple jazz, especially if you have a Mac. iCloud is really good, actually, because it has that nice integration with the Macs. So if you have a Mac computer, you can use an iCloud app, and you can just exchange files super easily from your phone to your computer. Google Drive is the other one, and you can use Google Drive as a desktop app, too, so you can transfer files from your phone to your computer super easily. And then there's Mega, and there's Dropbox. So those are 4 different cloud storage options you have. Pick and choose which one you like the best. I tend to like Mega. That's just me. I use Mega and Google Drive the most because I don't have an iPhone, so I don't really have any use for iCloud. If you do have an iPhone, iCloud is totally fine, and you can also use Google Drive if you want to. So it's up to you, just which one you think is the best. Try them out. And that's the thing about apps is it's so easy to just plug and play, download one. If you like it, get rid of it. Or if you like it, then keep it. If you don't like it, get rid of it. It just makes it really easy to try out different apps. And there are lots and lots and lots and lots of different apps. So basically there's an unlimited supply of different apps. Now, not all of them are good. Just because it's on the App Store doesn't mean it's a good app. And you have to look at reviews, read the different reviews, see what people like and don't like, and determine if you're going to like it yourself. Especially if it's a paid app, you're going to want to be a little bit more scrutinizing. If it's a paid app, you can look up reviews online too, and that's a good way to determine if it's an app you'll like. If there's an app reviewer who you trust, like say who works for CNET or for not Zero Hedge, who works for ZDNet or CNET or AOL or Yahoo or one of those different websites you use, then hey, read up their review and see if you like what they have to say about it. So that's one way to make sure your apps are an app you would actually like, because sometimes we pay for one and we end up really not liking it and you can't get a refund. And yeah, especially because the iPhone App Store has a policy of no refunds, which is kind of really dang annoying. But anyway, I was thinking about just document writing and different ways that I write documents, because I take notes in church a lot on my phone, and I think people think that I'm playing on my phone. I'm actually not. I'm taking notes on my on Evernote on my phone. I'm just typing furiously because I can type really fast on my phone. So I'm taking notes in church on my phone, and I think everyone thinks I'm playing Angry Birds. I'm totally not, trust me. But you can take notes in Evernote, and Evernote's one of those apps that is used by basically kind of everyone. Evernote and Google Docs tend to be the 2 note-taking apps that really kind of everyone uses, but there are other options out there. So let's give a little bit of an overview of Evernote, and we'll give an overview of Google Docs too, just so we get an idea of what's going on with the 2 of them so you can compare. I'm going to launch Evernote on my phone here real quick. It's going to take a second because I haven't used it in a little while. That's another thing too. Apps, if you haven't used them in a while, sometimes they'll take a while to load because there'll be new assets they have to get in there. But there we go. All right, so I'm in Evernote right now, and I have some options. So in the lower right-hand corner, there's a green circle with a white plus sign. I'll tap on that, and a bunch of different options pop up. I've got camera, attachment, work chat, reminder, and handwriting and text note. So with text note, that's what I usually use. I'll just hit text note, and I can just then type in whatever I want. And I can insert photos. I can even write up a quick news article in Evernote if I need to. And then I can transfer that over to my computer super easily because I can log into Evernote on my computer with my account. And then I can transfer that note to my computer as a text file, as a PDF, or whatever I want it to be. So it makes it really, really easy to transfer files. Now, that's just Evernote. There's also Google Drive, which is what I use for the news, actually. So if you're wondering how I get all my news stories compiled so well, it's actually because I use Google Drive and Google Docs. So what I do is I'll have the Google Docs app installed on my phone. And you can actually put PDFs on your phone too. Like, for instance, I got a game that's a tabletop game, and the manual was really long, and I didn't want to print it out because it was really long. So I have it all as PDF files here on my computer, fiasco.pdf. So I load it up on my phone super easily, just like that, and I can access it and reference it straight from my phone without having to have a whole big binder of files printed out in front of me. Makes it a lot easier. I mean, a lot easier. And the fun thing about Google Docs is, again, you can access it from any computer or phone as long as you log in. It goes for tablets too. So Google Docs is yet another really fun way to, not really fun, it's just a I don't know, it's really studious, maybe. It's just a good productive way. Productful? Is that a word? Productive. There we go. It's a good productive way to make sure that you're getting your work done smoothly and efficiently. Because honestly, I couldn't do half the stuff I do without some of these apps, because a lot of them are just indispensable. I kind of need them to do what I do. And the funny thing is, way back when, like 2-3 years ago when I first started out here at the radio station, I would print out about maybe 14 or so sheets. I think I averaged about 14 sheets of just printer paper. I would type out in OpenOffice on my computer. We're going to talk about OpenOffice and LibreOffice a little bit, by the way, too. I would print them out in OpenOffice or LibreOffice on my computer, and then I'd have these 14 sheets. I'd staple them together, and that was my show prep. I had these 14 sheets that I hand typed, on my computer and then printed out. And finally, I got a smartphone, and I could do all of that in Google Drive. So I'd type it out, I'd put it on my phone, and then I could have all my notes, all my citations, all my sources, everything on my phone right there. I could have hyperlinks, I could have pictures, I could have all sorts of fun stuff, all right on my phone, easy presentation, all right there. It was great. Now, here's something that is going to be really useful for the college student, because here's the thing. Maybe you don't want to buy, Microsoft Office. Even if your school provides it, maybe you don't like the interface. You think MS Office is kind of annoying and it's Microsoft. Maybe you have a Linux machine and it doesn't actually run on your computer. Whatever the case may be, there are actually alternatives, and I'm really big into alternatives. And I actually use one of these basically every day, so I have quite a bit of experience with it. I've not used Microsoft Office in a really long time. I'll just be straightforward with you, because I don't need to. What I use instead is LibreOffice, and I'm not being paid by the LibreOffice or OpenOffice Foundation or anything like that, because it's free. So you can get LibreOffice on your phone, and that's LIBRE Office. It's an alternative to Microsoft Office, and you can actually save your files as Microsoft Office files, and that's like the big plus for me. Is if someone wants a file saved as a Microsoft Office file, I don't have to install Microsoft Office, because I'm not going to buy MS Office just because one organization I'm dealing with wants Microsoft Office files. That's a really big pain in the neck. Do you have any idea how much of a pain that is, where you're dealing with somebody, say corporately, and they say, oh, we need this as a Microsoft Office file. Can you do that? As a docx. And you're like, yeah, totally. I can do that. No problem. And I actually can, because I have LibreOffice. I save it as that, and it's really, really dang simple. It just works. Again, it's one of those things where it just kind of works. I'm really happy with the performance of LibreOffice, and I have been for a long time, because I've been using it for like 8 years. So if you're looking for an alternative to Microsoft Office, LibreOffice and OpenOffice are both really, really good options for that. And actually, honestly, again, going back to Google Docs, you can use that as an option, as an alternative to Microsoft Office, because you can save Microsoft Office files as PDF, or sorry, you can save Google Docs as PDFs, and then again, you can just give those out to whoever you want. So it's a great way to put together presentations. It's a good way to put together pamphlets, and it's all working in the cloud. You don't have to worry about processors or your computer or whatever. You just log in and it's all right there, and it works really, really well. I'm always impressed with how well Google Drive works, because you think, when you think of web services, you think of like cloud stuff. Because I come from the earlier days of cloud computing, where I just think, oh, it's going to be, it's going to be chintzy. It's not going to work as the real stuff. It's actually not. It works really, really, really well. I'm always impressed with how well these things work. So there you go. That's my tips from me to you about your cloud services, and about how to save images and save some space on your phone. Again, a really good way to do that, to save space on your phone, is to back up your images to both Google Drive or to Google Photos or to your iCloud if you're on an iPhone. And then after it's done backing up, you can then just delete the photos off your phone, and you'll still be able to get to them from the cloud. Now, the downside of that is you'll have to have an internet connection to do that. That's really the only downside. And this works for videos too, but you'll have to have an internet, or you have to have internet access, I should say, to get to those files. So let's say you were on your iPhone and you don't have data where you are, and you don't have Wi-Fi, you're not going to be able to get to the photos that you backed up. But most of us have data plans, and most of us have access to Wi-Fi at any given time. So it's really not a big deal when it comes right down to it. Hey, this is AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. You know, we're everywhere. You can get to us, Hot News Talk Radio, at hotnewstalkradio.com, which is a great way to listen to us. It'll automatically start playing as soon as you go to the website, hotnewstalkradio.com. You can also get us by going to Hot News Talk Radio on the TuneIn Radio app. We're actually working on rolling out QR codes, so you can scan it straight from your phone, and it'll automatically take you to TuneIn. I can't speak today. It'll take you to TuneIn, and then you can just immediately start listening to it that way. You don't have to think about downloading apps or anything. It just works. It's really good. I really like the way it's working, and we're going to roll it out soon-ish. I'm going to promote it on Twitter a lot. So follow us on Twitter too, by the way. You can watch us on YouTube. Go to YouTube and then search for Hot News Talk Radio, and you can actually watch us streaming live. And you can do it from your phone too if you have the YouTube app. And by the way, you can upload videos from your phone to YouTube at the same, just using the same app. You don't have to download anything extra. If you've taken a video on your phone, then all you have to do in the YouTube app, and I'm opening mine right now, is go to, just give me a sec. Here we go. Go to the little options thing, go to the lower right-hand corner. There's a circle with an arrow pointing up. Just tap on that, and it'll take you to the upload screen, and you can choose immediately from your gallery or your photo roll or your camera roll which video you want to upload. So I have a bunch of different options of different videos. I have a ton of WebMs installed, or a ton of WebMs saved on my phone, and I can, again, just tap on it. It'll automatically upload, and it'll do in the background. You can do it straight from your phone. So you don't have to go home and put the video on your computer and then upload it from your computer to your YouTube account. You can actually upload a video straight from your YouTube account on your phone to YouTube. And again, it just works. It's really great. That's how I do it most of the time. When I'm just taking a quick video on my phone, I'll upload it straight that way. Hey, another great app that we use a lot is Periscope. So be sure to follow us on Periscope. If you're following me personally on Twitter, it's radio_Russell on Twitter, Radio Russell on Twitter. So you can follow me there, and then you can see when I'm streaming on Periscope, which I try to do about once a week or so. You can also follow Hot News Talk Radio on Periscope, Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter. You'll see our Periscope account there, and you can follow us and see all the great live streams that we do on Periscope. Periscope is a great marketing tool, by the way. If you're in a small business, look into Periscope streams, because different people will watch your Periscope even if they're not following you. I notice that a lot when I stream on Periscope. Is people, I have no idea who they are, but they'll be asking questions, putting hearts up on my Periscope videos and stuff, and it's really good. It's a great way to interact with different people in the area, because people tend to want to watch videos which are local, right? When I'm on Periscope, I want to know what people are doing locally. The Periscope app is really good for that. So I can see all the different videos and all the different activity that's going on locally in my area with the Periscope app. And we use that here at the station a lot too. Just promote different things to give you a view of what's going on just behind the scenes here at Hot News Talk Radio. So use the Periscope app. Again, we're on YouTube, and you can actually watch the YouTube live stream on your phone. You don't have to be at a computer to watch it. Open up the YouTube app, search for Hot News Talk Radio in your search bar, all one word. And then you can go to our channel, and you'll see a little thing that says live now. You can tap on that video, and now you're watching us streaming live on your phone. It's kind of like watching TV on your phone. I know a guy, he shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do this, but I know a guy who does this when he's driving. He watches it in the corner of his eye when he's driving, and it works just fine over his mobile data plan. Don't do that. but you can do that. And that's one of the beautiful things about technology is it's so versatile. You can use it so many different ways. So there's infinite ways to talk about tech right here on Hot News Talk Radio AM 1240 and hotnewstalkradio.com as well, where we are always streaming live, by the way, hotnewstalkradio.com and on the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone. This is Binary.